cable news is dead. It was a suicide that was assisted by Donald Trump, and it was one that needed to happen. To me, it's been so frustrating to watch people, Republicans, over the past 48 hours say, well, that's the way it is. You have to do better. You know, that's just how it is. Everybody knows the media is biased. This is not the right attitude. What happened on that stage on Tuesday night was a complete dereliction of duty by those moderators. They completely abandoned all journalistic integrity and principle. And it's deadly serious. We're talking about a presidential election here. They actively inserted themselves to the point where you actually have to wonder whether they made a conscious decision at ABC, this is the night we're gonna do it. We're just gonna lift the dress up and show them everything. That we're not journalists, that we are partisan hacks.
You know, I always thought, judging by David Muir's abs, that he was a great journalist, but who is David Muir anyway?
You know, he's managed to fly under the radar. Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Because he lets his programmers, his producers, and his content selections speak for his bias. You know, Media Research Center did a study right before the debate, it dropped, showing that I think it was 92% of their coverage on Kamala was positive, 92 or 93. 97% of their coverage on Trump was negative. And they said that ABC was the worst of the 3 nightly newscasts. NBC, more fair than ABC. CBS as well. So he got chosen to do the debate. And when David Muir was out there without the producers selecting the stories, all of which were left, and so you're left to say, okay, let's see you, David Muir, who are you? And of course we already knew because he has a say on content selection on his show. But he really let his freak flag fly. And what they did up there, I mean, I'll just take the one moment, which is really driving me insane. They asked Trump about his comment that he lost by a whisker recently on a podcast. Fair question, that's fine, you can ask him that. And Trump says, well, I was being sarcastic. He actually fact-checked him with, I didn't detect any sarcasm. What are you like one of those emojis from the Emoji Movie that can detect, that's not sarcasm, no, that's a truth teller. It was the most inappropriate thing I've ever seen. And it masqueraded as a fact check, and it, of course, tripped Trump up. And just give you one other thing. It's another moment of the debate. They asked Kamala Harris about the fact that they did nothing about immigration until the last 6 months, right? Obviously an election ploy to make the numbers look better. They turn to her. First she does her John Wayne routine, like, well, I was tough on that there border back when I was an AG, and now again, sure, Jan.
Well, she does have a gun, so I kind of get it, yeah.
Sure she does. So she gives that routine, and then she immediately pivots to his rallies stink and people leave. And of course, for Trump, that's like,
no, we can't.
No, here's a liver snap, yes.
I know.
Right, and you're like, no, Trump, come back.
I know.
No,
I know.
don't do it. So he did it. And then he did, and you're like, pivot back to immigration, this is your best issue. This is her worst issue, pivot. So then he starts pivoting. And that's when we got into the dogs and the cats. Okay, I mean,
but they're eating the pets. I mean, come on.
I mean, it is a thing, but maybe not our best example. Like, you know, the Babylon Bee had a headline the other day saying, like, Democrats fact check Trump. No dogs and cats being killed, just women and children. So he pivots back to immigration with the dogs and the cats. Fact check, not happening. Another inappropriate fact check. This is a matter up for debate right now. We've had dozens now at this point of witness testimonials saying it is true. And we have one unnamed city manager saying, not that I could prove. Well, what? That's not a proof that it's not happening. Another inappropriate fact check, so he screws up Trump's momentum. And then he interrupts to go to Kamala Harris. I'm thinking, okay, this is it where he's gonna go back to her and say, the question was, why did you wait until 6 months before? No one's given me an answer. You know, we've done rallies and we've done dogs. What's the answer? And instead of saying that to her, what does he say? Your response, Madam Harris, Madam Vice President. What? That's not the toss. So what does she do? Does she get up there and say, let me give you an answer. She says, 200 Republicans have endorsed me. Oh! And now we're off on that course and we never got back, right?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Dick Cheney was one of them.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, what do you did you ever think you'd wake up in a country where Kamala Harris was bragging about Darth Vader's endorsement? Like, what?
Yeah. And they love him now. The left loves some Dick Cheney.
And his horrible daughter. The whole thing is like, you're blowing my mind. Of all the Republicans who could endorse,
Yes.
I'll take Dick Cheney. Just for the charm alone. It's like, what?
It's so true. And by the way, the left, you listen to leftist media and they really think that's going to make a difference. Like they don't think that Trump's going to recover from the Dick Cheney endorsement of Kamala. Or the Liz Cheney. A lot of Liz Cheney Republicans left.
It's just crazy. I mean, it is a kind of cleansing moment for the Republican Party, actually. It's like getting a giant bald splinter out after 40 years. Do you know what I mean? That's like, here's what we'll do. All the people in our party who love killing people for profit, you can have. And she's like, that's right.
Enjoy.
We've got a big tent.
The water's fine. Well, look at the Lincoln Project. They're still out there doing these terrible ads about Trump after their pedophilia scandal. Like, what? How they survived that? There was some guy there who was accused of behaving very inappropriately with young men. I don't know exactly how young, but the point is, there's still Democrats giving them millions of dollars and they're running ads against Trump like he's the bad one.
You get Bill Kristol and Dick Cheney. What a trade. So awesome. We get Bobby Kennedy. I think it's fair.
Adam Kinzinger.
Yes. So just to end, you're the best. I just want to thank you for this conversation. It's just put me in a great mood, and it's wonderful to see you. But I want to just end on getting your views on a topic that I think is really hopeful and great. So you have just painted a devastating portrait of the American news media, and you're doing it from a place of deep knowledge and experience. I mean, you're Megyn Kelly. Like you're not guessing about this. You work there. But then you leave NBC in the nastiest, most dishonest, as I said, exit I've ever seen. Never seen anyone treated the way you were treated. And then you built this kind of empire by yourself. And it's an amazing story. And it's a tribute to your grit and your talent, your native talent. But it's also a commentary on like where we're going.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even think to call anybody at NBC News to join on this tour because people don't even know who works there.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's
maybe
right.
your life is a testament to what the future of media will be, and maybe that's great.
Thank you. My life and yours, Tucker. I think what we're proving is that the future of media is independent. It's a direct relationship between the consumers and the journalist of choice. People will make up their minds on an individual basis. Who do I trust? Who do I trust for news and information? And who don't I trust? And more, especially post-pandemic, people are realizing you can't trust these large corporations. They have agendas that they are secretly and not so secretly trying to shove down your throat without owning it. You have an individual, you can make up your own mind. Is she a truth teller? Is he a truth teller? Do they take big risks and go against the grain even when it might hurt them? Do they apologize to me when they got something wrong or own it? Are they self-deprecating? You're like the most successful / self-deprecating person I know, which shows your humility. And you want someone with humility telling you about the news because sometimes we do get it wrong. And we need to be able to say, oh, all right, that one, not my best. And the audience is forgiving. But you don't want people who are agenda-driven, especially not with some corporate overlord's agenda. So it was funny. I was listening to this podcast recently, and you came up. They were very angry at you. And
not the first time.
As a result, they were trying to say that he has no influence, that he's very popular, but with no influence. And this made me laugh. So literally, you had the White House weighing in on Tucker's interview last week. Okay? Like, that, it has absolutely no influence, but everyone in the country feels the need to comment on everything he does. And on top of that, you just look at don't take my word for it, because I'm your friend. You guys tell me, who is more influential? Tucker Carlson or Wolf Blitzer? Right? Truly, like, who has more sway with an audience, right? Like, I'll take myself, like yours truly or like Mika Brzezinski. I like my odds. I'm good on that cage match. Nobody talks about these people. Now, maybe a show here or there will make news, but cable news is dead. It was a suicide that was assisted by Donald Trump, and it was one that needed to happen.
I can't improve on that.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.